Welcome to a busy webinar, Find Time to Save Time, Social Media Time Savers. We're going to talk about advanced social media tips and tricks to help you save time with doing not quite as much. We all have plenty of stuff to do today and in our lives, so why waste all of your time posting and doing all kinds of crazy stuff all over social media? We're going to show you how to save time with a few helpful tips and tricks that we've learned over our years of doing social media for our clients. I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb, delighted to have you here, and we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff in rapid succession. If you would like the PowerPoint deck from today's presentation in order to get a copy of all of the tips, tricks, and other fun stuff that we're going to talk through today, just send me an email at dave@bizzyweb.com and or give us a call at 612-4BUSY-O, 612-424-9990. If you have any questions on the event, if you have any regular kind of questions about social media or digital marketing in general, that's how you get a hold of us. And you can also try us by using the hashtag that's embedded on today's event with the updates to Google Hangouts and the sunsetting of Google Hangouts on air in favor of YouTube Live. We have now used YouTube Live, of course, for these webinars, so you can watch the event live right here from this screen. If you're pressing play, that's probably how you're watching us right now. But if you would like to ask questions, keep a separate window open. You can either check the BizzyWebinar hashtag at Twitter by going to twitter.com and just searching for #BizzyWebinar as highlighted right here. And this is all the stuff that's happening with the BizzyWebinar. You can hit refresh once in a while, or this hashtag window does automatically refresh once in a while. Or you can also just go down a little bit in today's event, and the hashtag search is actually embedded right in the page. So you can see that right here. If you look at this, this will automatically update during the event too, and you can ask questions by using that same hashtag on Twitter. Okay, so that's how to get a hold of us, how to ask questions. Here's just a second about who the heck we are and what we do. BizzyWeb is a digital marketing agency. We're located in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we have an entire team of folks that are ready and willing to help you with all of your digital marketing needs. We do email marketing, social media marketing, Google AdWords, content writing, and of course, web design. Here's some examples of our designs recently. And whether it's the BizzyWeb website, the Minnesota Beef Council, websites for prints, all kinds of other stuff that we've done in the recent past, we can help you grow your business. So that's us. What about you? Well, why are you here today? Well, it's probably that you're just sick of spending all of your time chasing your tail. And so social media takes a lot of time. According to Fortune magazine, 90% of businesses report increased exposure and improved sales from social media. So it's probably safe to say that it's a good marketing strategy for you. But how do you find the time? How do you manage your social media marketing demands and still have time to use and to grow your business? So that's what we're going to talk about. And we believe, of course, that taking the time now can save a lot of time and energy, because saving time is literally making you money. According to Constant Contact in a recent survey, the estimated value of an extra hour in your day equals, on average, $273 for a small business. So saving that money, saving that time can be a huge benefit to you, to your business. You still need to do the marketing, but let's not make it take hours and weeks of your time. So here's our agenda for the day. First, what we're going to go through is how to curate content, how to gather content that you can use safely and respectfully inside of your digital marketing. We're going to go through some social media management tools, some things that you can use to automate much of what you do with social media marketing. We're going to talk about how to create content at and through events. We'll talk through some popular apps that you can use to use this social media stuff and save some time using your phone, and the art of not overthinking what you're doing, and to just kind of learn to experiment, learn to try new things, and not to over concern yourself with the fact that every little thing has to be perfect. You have to be respectful, you have to be accurate, but feel free and engage on a level where you're playing as much as you're integrating your digital marketing, and that'll help you save a lot of time in the near future. So as we go through that, we're finally going to talk through some next steps and what to do after you get all that stuff set up. Let's get right into that content then. When we talk about curating content, what we mean is the art of discovering, gathering, and presenting digital content that surrounds a specific subject matter. This is the art of finding great things to share with your customers. A very important part of curating content is that you need to give the author credit, or else it's called plagiarism, when we all learned in grade school that plagiarism is a bad thing, right? I'm going to talk about that more in a little bit. But curating content is something that you find almost everyone doing. And if you subscribe to any big web properties or any news outlet, that's basically what they're doing, is they're curating content that they've found elsewhere. They're giving a link to that blog, that place, that source, and they're talking about it. So especially if we talk about plagiarism and sourcing content, giving credit to the original author, like you see in the examples on the screen, via @Inc., via @CM Content, ampersand or hashtag B2B marketing budget set by @Derek Edmond, and via @. So doing via or hat tip or that kind of stuff will take care of the possibility that you're not giving enough credit to the people that you're working with or that you're using content from. So just give them a little nod. Make sure you link back to them. This is easy on Twitter, less so on other places, but a simple link back to the content or the article that you received your information from can make all the difference. So there are many reasons why curated content should be a big part of your strategy. First, everybody knows this, but for the recommended amount of social sharing, there's just not enough time in the day to create the amount of content you'll need to keep your social media presence well-rounded. If you were to create the content yourself every day, you'd probably need someone else, someone like BizzyWeb perhaps, to help with all the volume. That's why proper curation is a real killer tip for getting great content out there. Let's say you have a presence on Facebook and Twitter. The best practice says that you should post 1 to 3 times per day and tweet between 5 and 9 times per day. So that's all in 6 times a day total that you should be publishing to social media. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of content if you're trying to come up with it all yourself. You don't have to take the time to write content on every topic related to your business. You can combine other people's efforts to get a wide range of content for your viewers by sifting through others' public content for pieces about what topics are relevant to your audience. We're going to use this Twitter feed, Maria's Twitter feed, as an example. Ideally, someone should be able to come to any one of your social media channels and find information that they could want about you, your company, your industry, and how you can help them. They're going to be looking for a full spectrum perspective, and it's harder to become that one-stop shop if you're only sharing content that you create. By sharing content that others create, it lets you help share other perspectives about your industry, and it allows you to talk about things that go beyond your expertise while building relationships whose content you credit. So Maria includes articles that she's found on the internet that she thinks her audience would be interested in. Notice she always includes the handle or the @name of the author. She retweets people she's following, and she promotes things that are going on in her world to connect up and to broadcast, absolutely additionally promote the content and the things that she's working on. Now, I mentioned this before, but another important attribute of curating content is the opportunity it provides to help you build influential relationships with others in your field. One of the biggest advantages to social media, especially Twitter, is the ability to grow relationships with the people that you trust. And so, or that want to do business with you. You can give them credit by tagging them and then share that article, connect up with them, share that content back and forth. That turns into a symbiotic relationship where you're scratching their back, they're scratching yours. People will retweet your content if you've retweeted them. If you send them an @ message, they're more likely to favorite or to content or comment on your content. And that's a great way to continue to grow your reader base. Also, RSS readers can save you a ton of time. There's all kinds of things that you can do to grab content. One of the biggest things that you need to know if you're going to curate content effectively is where to find that content. So RSS readers, which stand for really simple syndication, and that's what happens every time you publish content to a WordPress powered blog or any kind of content that's built for social sharing. So RSS readers can help save time with good reason, because you really need to reach out and to have a broad spectrum of content if you're going to use curated content effectively. I, for example, browse several dozen websites every night before I go to bed, sometimes several hundred articles. And that practice, the art of going through all of that content and categorizing it all, taking it all in, takes me on average about 15 minutes every night. So it's a fantastic use of time and connections. So RSS readers can absolutely help you by saving you that time. My recommended RSS reader is Feedly. There's a few other ones, and I'm going to cover other options as well, but Feedly has a brilliant interface and tool. It's on Android as well as iOS. It's on the web and available wherever you're going to be. This is really the child of the old Google Reader. And anyone that's used Google Reader, that's an old school RSS reader person, knows that Feedly is kind of the natural progression. You can sync Feedly articles across all of your devices, so you can read something on your computer, pick it up later on your Android tablet, and then pick it up again when you're on the go or stuck in a line somewhere on your iPhone. So you can use all of that content, and it syncs across all devices, makes it very easy to share, to tweet, to publish content across that network. And it allows you to very simply dig through different kinds of content. You can actually browse through each kind of content by just searching for your industry, for your business, for popular tools, hashtags, content, and Feedly will automatically share with you some of those articles. Another way to get this content that's a little bit more technical and you have to add things manually is to use a tool that I love called Alltop. ALLTOP is a brilliant website that is basically an amalgamation of all the top blogs on pretty much any given category under the sun. So if you're into butterfly collecting, there's an Alltop on that. If you're into social media marketing, there's an Alltop page for that. And you can create your own Alltop page by logging into Alltop. It's a free service, and it lets you do all of that. And then what I do is I take my Alltop content or all the top blogs in given things. If I have a new client that's in a specific industry, I'll visit the Alltop page for that industry, and I will add those feeds, those website feeds, to my Feedly RSS reader. From there, I can keep up to date, I can browse, I can connect, and I can use that content elsewhere. And we'll show you how to do curation in a little bit. But with Feedly, I can then categorize all that content by specific types. So for example, this feed is the marketing feed. And so you can see like the Constant Contact blog or the Boing Boing blog on here, they're listed. And the ones that are in bold are the ones that still have unread content in them. But I can simply and easily scroll through either the entire category or just through individual pages. You don't visit the website when you go into an RSS reader. You simply browse the content that's available on that website. And then if you want to dig in, you can click for more and it'll actually take you into the website for that content. On average, as I'm browsing through my articles every day, I have a bunch of websites that I like to browse. Some of these websites will technical or will make you click through for more content. So for example, Mashable has a great and varied bit of content, and I use that for kind of keeping my pulse on social media and popular culture. But inside of Mashable, they only give the first paragraph or sometimes only a couple of lines of content. Same thing with Fast Company. But for example, The Verge, which is another similar site to Mashable, includes the entire content of every article in the RSS reader. So I never have to click elsewhere in order to get additional content. So you'll get a feel for that as you browse around, and you'll want to use websites and content as much as possible that just include all of that content in their readers. So as you're looking through that, again, great way to discover helpful content. Google Alerts here's a few other ways that you can grab RSS content. Google Alerts talks and lets you set a keyword for your business name, for your industry, for a competitor, or whatever articles you might find around the internet. Just go to google.com/alerts to set up keywords and the email frequency. You can also set an alert for your business name, and that's a great way to find out whenever anyone's talking about you and your business. A little bit trickier if you have a common name as your business, but for example, with BizzyWeb, it makes it very simple. Anytime anyone mentions BizzyWeb, I see what that content is, and I can respond appropriately to it. Email newsletters are a fantastic way to find great content. You probably have connections or are connected with other experts in your industry. And there's a good chance, especially if that organization is good about their marketing, that they have an email newsletter that they use to send out tips, tricks, handy tidbits, or information. Be sure to subscribe to those newsletters, because that's great content that you can share with your clients and you can repurpose. And again, you can curate it, but you can't plagiarize it. So make sure that you give a hat tip, that you give a nod, that you give an at to the place that you receive this. Give a link back to the website that featured the content in the first place. Finally, social media feeds are also fantastic for all of this stuff. So you probably have Facebook searches or Facebook pages that you can connect with. There's a great tool inside of Facebook pages where you can actively browse and track other pages of companies that are either complementary or competitors to you. And you can see that content and then give it a nod, give it a share, curate that content out to other places. Your channels are filled with sources of information. Retweeting or sharing to your followers is a great way to connect up, and just do that maybe once a day, maybe once a week, to give that nod to people. So always, and with everyone that you connect with, every piece of content that you curate to, again, I can't stress this enough, make sure that you give credit to the original source if you're going to curate content, and don't grab the entire content. Retweeting is one thing where you're sharing the entire content of the tweet, but don't grab the entire content of a blog post and share it as your own, even if you give a link back. Just share the most salient point, that one paragraph or that one line that was most useful to you, most interesting, and or you think would capture your readers' attention, and then link back to the article for the rest of the content for them to grab. It's what I like to call Oreo posting. So the art of giving a brief explanation on what you're about to share, sharing that content, the creamy filling, with a little link, so a paragraph or a few lines of text with a link back to the original content, and then the final cookie in that Oreo is your explanation on why that was so interesting or helpful. Next, you should probably also browse social media tools to help you save time. But there's RSS readers. How do you easily input the content you find in your strategy? Well, some of these tools will help you organize your content in one spot, and you can schedule posts to include multiple social media platforms at one time. So the benefits of management tools can vary based on the platform you decide to use. What I want to cover before we get too far into this is to note that your website can serve as an essential tool for automatically saving you time by cross-posting your content across social networks. Every BizzyWeb-powered website has the ability to post content from the website to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google Plus, Pinterest, Tumblr, and others, all with that single click. So every time you schedule a new post on your website can post to all of those spots. There's a few other tools that you can use, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So you can set and schedule content for Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And then there's nothing that'll help you save more time than the ability to respond, retweet, and share social media posts all from one spot. So checking your management platform once a day puts you at the top of your social media inquiries and keeps you up with praises, engagement, or other content. Knowing which content works and which doesn't by looking at your analytics can also help you really get better at your marketing. And it's been said in other places, and certainly by me in the past, that marketing requires measurement, and there's no marketing without measurement. So if you're going to market, be sure to measure, because there's nothing that you can do to improve your results more than actually looking at what's working best for you. So not all these desktop platforms are free that I'm about to share with you. They're low cost, however, and if you think to how much money in your hour of a day is worth and how much time you might save, the low monthly fee that you'll spend for any of these tools is pretty darn cheap and effective. So don't be afraid to invest in saving yourself some time. Okay, so one of our favorites for social media management and aggregation is Hootsuite. So using Hootsuite, you can schedule many different social platform accounts, whether you're using different messages on one or sending across other accounts. You can see all your scheduled posts and edit the time of day of those posts in one convenient spot. After you schedule what posts you plan to share, you also need to come back and go to the account regularly to make sure that your content is being engaged. And so if you see someone retweeting or sharing, or if you're searching for streams, you can easily see that content inside of the Hootsuite window. Management tools are a great way to keep up with what's happening with all your social media channels without needing to go and sign in to all of those platforms at once. So this is an example of Hootsuite where you can check and follow a number of different accounts. So you can log in, you can search, and you can see all the content that's available. Social media management tools make this curation content very easy. You can browse all of the different posts and windows. So if you're browsing, each one of these lines that you see inside of here is a search inside of Twitter. So one line is retweets, one line is your tweets, one line is searches for specific things. Like in our Hootsuite, we have a search for the BizzyWebinar hashtag, and that's how we're keeping track of these outside. Note that many of the social networks have come out with aggregation tools and scheduling tools on their own, but Hootsuite is one of the granddaddies in this, and they're still doing a really good job. So there's no need to remember multiple passwords with this. You can log in once on Hootsuite and cross-post and get that content out there. So this is in this example screen, you can post from any of the social networks. Hootsuite currently covers Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+. Nothing for Instagram yet, although I hear that that's probably coming. It's much more image-centered on Instagram anyway, but you can set it, and then as you can see on this window, you can also set for your different accounts, but then also publish and click on specific dates or times. So you can publish your tweet, your content, select which networks you want to publish to, select what date and time you want to publish on, and you can actually set it to repost across, if, for example, you're on Twitter, it's considered best practice to try posting, once for the morning crowd, once for the afternoon crowd, once for the evening crowd. So you can repost your content multiple times, all automatically, using a tool like Hootsuite. From there, you can set up content and you can engage, comment, like things to respond, retweet, reply publicly, or send direct messages. And all of that content is very easy to manage and maintain. As well, in Hootsuite, did the wrong click there. You can also set up notes so that you can engage quickly and easily with social media such as LinkedIn, Twitter, and all of the other tools that I talked about. Measuring your analytics is very easy. You can see inside of the tools the level of engagement across the entire network, as well as with individual content. So you can see which posts were most profitable or got you the most interest. You can see what the level of engagement and interaction has been, and it can really help you dig in to figure out what's working and what's not. The best feature, I think, is the ability to see how many clicks each one of your tweets get with links received. This is where you'll see like an Owly, an ow.ly link inside of your content. And what I like inside of that is that it lets you see how many times a click was engaged with. The bad part about it, however, is that every time you publish and you send out a ow.ly link to your content, that's not necessarily a link back to your website. I mean, it'll get to your website via a redirect, but as far as search engines, as far as Google is concerned, for example, it's much better to link directly to, for example, BizzyWeb.com/your content than it is to link to an article using a redirect service like Owly. So here's how to use events for content. And I want to take one side step here, make sure that we're doing okay and that we don't have any questions on the event. So I'm going to scroll up and see. Doesn't look like we have any tweets to the hashtag right now. I'm going to hit refresh quickly. Again, if you do have a question, if you want to ask me something, just tweet to this #BizzyWebinar, this hashtag BizzyWebinar, and I'll be monitoring that during the event. As well as a reminder, if you would like to ask questions of me for after the event, or if you would like to request this PowerPoint deck, send me an email at dave@bizzyweb.com and we'll get the PowerPoint slides to you. So we're talking about creating content and events. In order to build your social media, using events can be an incredibly great way to get more interaction, to get more engagement. You can use tools like WordSwag, Overgram, and other content to drive people in using imagery for your events. So like with BizzyWebinar, we often use, and you'll see actually from our event page, this is an image that talks about the details of our event. So BizzyWebinar, social media time savers, the date and time, how to get there, live on Facebook, and when, right? That was done using an image editing tool that we embed, and you can use WordSwag, Overgram, PowerPoint, Photoshop, of course, or Canva, and some other tools that I'll share with you shortly to interact and use those kinds of content. You can also share content and push it out there. Using hashtags can be a great way to get people to connect back. You can share out content and retweet content. And again, this is an example of that Owly thing. So check out the fun we had this year, and that's a link to an image. Twitter now embeds imagery, so it's super easy and kind of fun. When you're doing PowerPoint, it's very easy to just grab an image and throw text and maybe a little screen over the top of it. Canva is a brilliant and free tool that you can use for this as well, where you can just do imagery, add text to that imagery, and Canva allows you to get a lot of free images. There's also some really neat stuff that you can do for, maybe $1 or something to buy higher quality imagery. Tools like PicMonkey, Pablo, Pixlr are all fantastic for this as well. And if you're looking for a great place to find imagery, period, using PhotoPin is currently my favorite tool for finding great imagery that's not copyrighted. So you want to make sure that you're not using copyrighted imagery. Do not go to Google and search for images and use those images. Just because you can find it on Google doesn't mean you can reuse it anywhere else. As a matter of fact, I've had issues with clients that have used Google Images and then received an invoice from different stock photo places. Like Getty Images is pretty famous for this. They make sure that their content is Googleable, and they hope and pray that they'll be able to prey on you as a end user. They actually send out invoices and or lawsuits to folks that use their images that they've made available on Google. So I've received, or clients of mine have received image or invoices for imagery that they've found on the web. One that I thought was the most egregious was just a picture of a hamster in a wheel, and my client received a $1,500 invoice from Getty Images for this, but they really shouldn't have used it. So this was a little bit before we worked with them, of course, but using a tool like PhotoPin can absolutely help with that, because it's content that's freely available using the Creative Commons licensing. So there's lots more that we can talk about with Creative Commons, but basically, if you're paying attention to Creative Commons and you're using images that are available for commercial use for free, it's a great way to make sure that you're just not running afoul of copyright and exposing yourself to potential danger. When you're using imagery, it's nice to create compelling and visual content. And that's putting imagery or text over the top of an image to make your content pop. So that's the kind of content that you want to use imagery for. But in this example, this is a Photoshop edit of an image, and you can very easily use tools like Canva, Pixlr, and PowerPoint to do the same thing. So let's switch over and talk about applications that you can use to engage and connect with the kinds of folks that you're trying to reach, and to reuse content and find content to repurpose or to save you time. Well, here's some of the popular tools that are available on the web, or actually on mobile apps, that you can use. We've talked about Feedly a little bit, but the application for Feedly is quite powerful, and it allows you to find content quickly by categorizing your articles into industries or other tools. Like I have one folder of things that I like to read for sure every day, but then I have feeds for search engine optimization, for content writing, for AdWords and Google advertising, for digital marketing in general, and for different types and categories of clients. So I can click through and browse all of that content by connecting and by just following my individual folders. And again, you can easily just either click on the marketing tab to receive all 833 articles and to browse through those. Or if I just want to see the stuff from Copyblogger, for example, and just review the 18 articles that are available on that page, I can just click on the Copyblogger one. It's very easy to mark everything as read. And with a click or a press on the mobile device, you can very simply retweet, share, or save to another tool. I actually use a tool called Instapaper to share content to my entire team. So as I find things, and again, I mentioned I spend about 15 minutes an evening browsing through my Feedly feeds. And on average, on a given day, all of the different feeds that I subscribe to, there's probably about 15 or 1,600 articles inside of that window. I don't normally get through all of those every day, but out of those 15, 1,600, I'll probably review 300 or 400 articles just by the headlines in my Feedly feed reader. And maybe I'll find 3 or 4 things per day that I want to share with my team. So what I do with that is I click a little button inside of Feedly to share it to Instapaper. And Instapaper is my favorite tool. You can also use Pocket or some of the other tools that are listed here as your sharing tool and private sharing tool. So I share that privately to my team. My team has an RSS feed of my recommended reading, and they can review that every day. So it makes it very simple. If you're looking for something with a little bit more visual pizzazz, Flipboard works really well as a online magazine. You enter in all of your RSS feeds that you'd like to track, and it has beautiful animations and content, and it's especially pretty on tablets. Hootsuite, as we mentioned, allows you to create all kinds of content and search for all different kinds of content. You'll want to create tabs for each one of your clients if you have multiple clients or connections. Might also be referral partners, connections that you want to make sure that you keep track of, or other important people. Buffer allows you to do much the same thing. And with Buffer, it's actually a little bit more proactive on your suggested content for curation. The suggestions tool is very nice inside of Buffer, so I like it for that. And then Pocket is similar in feel and design to Instapaper, which I mentioned before. But really, if you're on Buffer or on Pocket, you can very easily save links, videos, and images to share later, and then you just go into your Pocket account. So in a daily media digestion strategy, you might have a Feedly or Flipboard RSS feed that you'll browse, probably a few dozen to a few hundred places. And then you'll share that content to Instapaper or Pocket for future consumption. And then if you're just looking for things to write about or to curate on the day or the time that you normally spend every day or week sharing your content or doing proactive social media outreach, you just visit either Feedly or Instagram or Pocket and review the content that you found that you want to reshare and reuse. I'm getting kind of complicated, so I wanted to back up a second and remind you that you don't necessarily need to overthink all of this. It's important to really get out of your head. It can take you a lot of time to put together all of this social networking stuff, and it can seem like a lot, but once you set up a system for yourself, it's really not that bad. As I mentioned, I spend about 15 minutes a day taking care of content and looking for things that I can share or repurpose across my teams. One of the important parts is to remember that social media is really designed to be fun. Facebook wouldn't have 1.4 billion users if it was onerous to get through. If it took all kinds of stuff and if it was work, it wouldn't have grown so huge. Make sure that you're curious, that you enjoy what you're doing, and that you go with what moves you, what interests you. People are interacting and connecting with you as a business owner because of who you are. So don't be afraid of that. With a caveat, I would probably stay away, especially in this climate, from political posts, because about half of the world is going to disagree with your political views. And so, keeping it kind of E is for everybody, general, and just interesting things, that's going to help you. Another thing to remember is to always be you. So be authentic to you, your company, your brand, and just share what matters, what you find interesting, what you know that your clients would find the most interesting. And of course, you should also, at least partially, be fun. People are on social media, they're on Facebook or Snapchat to goof around or to escape a little bit. You don't want to publish the equivalent of TPS reports to social media, at least not all the time, because you need to be something or have content that people are ready and interested to engage with. Don't make it seem like work, because nobody's going to work in their off time. Okay, so we've talked through all of the details. Let's go through a few final next steps to keep you up to date and to help you save time. First, set up an RSS reader like Feedly, like Instapaper, Pocket, Buffer, Hootsuite. Go to alltop.com and get access to the content that matters to you and your business. You're looking for content that you can repurpose, that you can curate appropriately for you, your business, and more importantly, for your clients. You're going to want to set up a social media management tool like Hootsuite or Buffer to publish that content out. Remember, of course, that your website can also serve as that publishing platform. Start identifying content to share. So look for things that you can share and save those somewhere. I use Instapaper. You also might want to use Pocket if you're looking for great content. Both of those tools are free. Both of them also offer premium versions. But with all of this stuff, the max, I think, the most expensive tool that we talk about is Hootsuite, and that's $5 a month per user that you want to sign into your tool. So it's not going to break the bank. And think of, again, 1 hour of your time can be worth about $237 if you're a business owner and you have to look at how much money you could be making in other places. So if you can save some time, if you can get your content out there and do social media without destroying the rest of your job, it's money well spent. Make sure that you schedule and share curated content. It doesn't always have to just come from you. The more you share, the more you're giving credit to other people and the more connections you're forging, because people love to be retweeted, shared, or have their content promoted on your website. The key, again, is to make sure that you're sharing appropriately and respectfully. Make sure that you're giving a hat tip or a share an @ to that content, and don't repurpose the content in its entirety. Do an Oreo post, give your explanation, share a little bit of their content, and then give your reasoning behind why you shared that or your takeaway from that content to share and curate content effectively. Finally, make sure that you're having fun on social and that you're being yourself in your posts. You do that, you'll be able to save time and money in your digital marketing strategies, and that's really what it's all about. Talking about saving money, I do have a good saving money tip. If you're interested in Constant Contact and would like to get an email marketing and digital marketing suite of tools, I haven't talked about this much today with Constant Contact, but Constant Contact actually has a number of auto posting and integrating tools with Facebook, Instagram, social media, auto posting, and categorizing of content, all professionally done. And for the first 3 months, for an unlimited marketing size, you can send emails with Constant Contact for $5 a month if today you use this link, constantcontact.com/event-Meyer. This is only for folks that attend live events during the month of September. So if you'd like to visit and review and get Constant Contact for $5 a month for the first 3 months, it's a fantastic spend of $15, unlimited list size for that. So this is a deal that's never been offered before. If you're interested, get a hold of me if you'd like, or just visit constantcontact.com/event-Meyer. Other resources, be sure to review our past events and upcoming events by going to BizzyWeb.com/events. We have weekly Busy Webinars, and we keep up with content and digital marketing strategies. And of course, if you'd like to try Constant Contact for free on a limited basis, you can also go to BizzyWeb.com/cc. If you would like to keep up with BizzyWeb, text Bizzy, BIZZY, to 22828. We'll send you a quick note and get you signed right up so that you'll always have advance notice of our upcoming events, as well as get easy access to tips and tricks that are delivered right to your email inbox. We only do these once a week. We have one thing that we do once a month, and then reminders on events once a week, and you can opt in or out of any of those things. But we'd love to have you text Bizzy, watch your autocorrect, BIZZY, to 22828. Finally, as a reminder, if you'd like today's PowerPoint deck, go ahead and send an email to dave@BizzyWeb.com. And if you have any questions or would like to chat further, give us a call at 612-4BizzyO. We'd love to chat with you then. If you'd like a marketing report, you can go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz. It's going to take you 45 seconds to fill out this information, and it'll give you back a 10-page report on how you can improve your digital marketing results. You'll have a 2-page checklist as part of that report where you can improve your search results and get found more effectively. I am Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Again, remember, tweet to the hashtag, give us a note, and if you want the PowerPoint deck from today, just send me an email. Remember, at BizzyWeb, we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Have a great week.